it easy. Konnichiwa minasan. Hey friends, how are you? Welcome to Saral Japani YouTube channel. Friends, the much awaited notification about the application form for Japan government's MEXT scholarship for 2026 is finally out, and the deadline of application submission is set as 13th of May 2025. In this video, I'm going to explain in detail about the application process of MEXT Scholarship 2026. So keep watching if you are a prospective master's or PhD student wanting to study in Japan starting 2026. So before I move ahead with the details, here are the important dates to be kept in mind. And this information is for India, that is Embassy of Japan situated in India has given these dates for the Indian applicants. So the dates may vary for other countries. The application deadline is 13th of May. Application screening will be done during the rest of the month of May. Notification of result of preliminary application form is set as first week of June. Then the shortlisted candidates will be called for written examination on 22nd of June, and there will be online, that is virtual interviews of the selected candidates between July 8 and 13. So these are the important dates to be noted. And now we shall break out from this PPT and I will take you to the website of Japan Embassy and we will see what all information are provided. So this is the website of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Japan, and the URL is www.mofa.go.jp/about/emb_cons/mofascrv.html. That is Ministry of Foreign Affairs Japan, Embassy, Consulates, and Ministry of Foreign Affairs Service. So I will provide this URL in the description section of this video as well so that you can have instant access by clicking on that link. So this is the website of Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Japan and where all the embassies across the world have been listed here, as you can see. So from there you can select your own country's embassy and you can visit that place. So I will consider India and I will move to Embassy of Japan situated in India. So this is the Embassy of Japan in India. Here you will see the tag education. So here study in Japan, and here you will see all these notifications. The first one is the one that we are interested today, Japanese government scholarships. And here you can see new and research student, research studies possible to continue to master's and PhD course, number of scholarships to be announced. Application period is 14th April to 13th May 2025 and applications open for 2026. So this is the one that has been posted yesterday and this is what we are interested in. And remember that for the undergraduate students, that is for the bachelor's degree, the advertisement is yet to be announced and you can keep a watch on this website. It will be announced very soon, maybe within few days. So we will take a look at the research student application notification that they have provided and let's see what is there inside it. So studying in Japan, Japanese government scholarships, research students for 2026. And this has been updated on 14th of April 2025. That is day before yesterday. So there is one link which takes us to application guidelines, Japanese government MEXT scholarship for 2026 research students. So we will go into this link, but before that, let's see what is all written on this page. Type research students, level graduate school level, that is master's or PhD. Age should be less than 35 years. And these are the fields of study for which you can apply for the MEXT scholarship, either in master's or in PhD. These branches are humanities, social science, mathematical science, physics, chemistry and chemical engineering, biology and biotechnology, agriculture and fishery, environmental science, pharmaceutical science, geology and geoinformatics, civil engineering, architecture, material science and engineering, electrical engineering, electronics and communications engineering, mechanical engineering, aerospace engineering, robotics, computer science, information technology, and sports science. Qualifications and conditions. In addition to the qualifications and eligibility criteria listed in the guidelines, the following would apply. So guidelines means the link that we just discussed above. So this is the guideline. So we will go through that as well. For master's course or doctoral course, first phase, bachelor's degree in the relevant field with minimum 70% marks. That means you should have achieved at least 70% marks in your bachelor's degree. Then only you will be considered for applying to master's or doctoral course. The candidates should obtain their mark sheet and degree on or before September 30, 2026 for the October 2026 batch. And for doctoral course, there is one additional condition that master's degree in the relevant field with minimum 70% marks. So for doctoral students, both bachelor's and master's should be having 70% marks. And candidates should have practical research, teaching, or work experience after obtaining the prescribed qualification on or before 30th September 2026 for the October 2026 batch. Eligibility for humanities and social sciences is a bachelor's degree in the relevant field with minimum 65% marks. So there is a waiver of 5% marks for humanities and social sciences discipline. Term of scholarship. For non-regular students, the scholarship period will start from April, September, or October 2026 until the end of March 2028. So please read points 4, 5, 12, and 13 of the application guidelines to understand the terms of scholarships and the academic pathways of non-regular students. For the regular students enrolled in master's or doctoral courses, regardless of the date of arrival, the scholarship period shall be the necessary period for the completion of the respective regular course, hereinafter referred to as the standard period of study. Number of scholarships to be announced, so there is no fixed limit as yet. It depends on various factors which is not disclosed. Then the stipend that you will be receiving as part of the scholarship is students receiving the preparatory education 143k yen per month, which is approximately Indian rupees 84,000, and regular students enrolled in master's or professional degree courses will get 144k yen, approximately 84,700 rupees per month. Regular students enrolled in doctoral courses will get 143k yen, which is approximately 85,300 rupees per month. The education fees is exempted, that is, you don't have to pay any kind of fees in Japan. Traveling expenses, round trip airfare will be provided. That is, only one time round trip fare will be provided, not for every year. Now, the most important, how to apply and where to send the completed forms. The document screening will be conducted on the basis of the preliminary application form given below. That means you have to fill up the preliminary application form. If you wish to apply, please email the form as an attachment to us. So this is very, very important that you don't have to send anything by postal mail. You have to use only email. Just email the application form. So that makes the work much easier, isn't it? The last date of submission of the form is 13th of May 2025 at 11:59 p.m. So that means you have the full 13th of May. Before the bell rings for 14th of May, you must submit that. Please note that the file should be a Microsoft Word file only and should not exceed 1 MB size. Applications received at the following email ID only shall be considered as submitted application form. The email ID is scholarship-india@nd.mofa.go.jp. Very, very important. scholarship-india@nd.mofa.go.jp. And here is the preliminary application form. So let's see what is there in this application form. So before proceeding further, okay, so let's read out the rest of this page and then we will go to this preliminary application form which you need to submit. Application received after the aforesaid date and time will be automatically rejected. Also, files in other formats such as scanned copies of handwritten documents, PDF, PowerPoint, Google Drive, link to Google Drive, Google Docs, etc. will also be rejected automatically. No supporting documents are required to be submitted with the preliminary application. Very, very important. There is no supporting documents of any mark sheets. Nothing is required for this preliminary application. All those things will be required only after you are screened and considered eligible for the written test. You will only submit the application form along with supporting documents as mentioned in the guidelines if you are shortlisted after the preliminary application form screening round. So if you are screened for the written test, then only you have to submit some additional documents. Schedule of the selection. Application deadline must 13th May 2025. Application screening during the month of May. Notification of result of preliminary application form first week of June. So in the first week of June, you will be notified if you are selected or not for the written examination, which will be held on June 22nd, 2025. And the results of the written test will be declared uh, towards most likely during the first week of July, and the selected candidates will be called for interview, which will be a virtual interview between July 8th and 13th, and then the final results will be declared. This is the contact information, but you don't have to send any mail to this address. You just have to submit the application through this email ID. So now let's go to the preliminary application form. So I have this form open. So this is the preliminary application form that has 6 pages in total, and let's go through this application form. Preliminary application for the Japanese government MEXT scholarship research students 2026. Read the instructions carefully before proceeding to fill out the form. Application submission is by email at scholarship-india@nd.mofa.go.jp in MS Word format only. File size should not exceed 1 MB. Any other format or sending by other medium may lead to rejection of the application. The application screening will be based on the information below and the research plan. So remember that the research plan, that is the statement of purpose that you will write, will be the most important deciding factor in your selection apart from your passing of the written test. If your field of study or the research plan are blank, then your application will not be processed. This rule applies to master's courses as well. So very, very important. So people might think that the research plan is needed only for PhD students, but that's not the case. Even for master degree courses, you have to be very clear about what you want to do, what kind of research you want to carry out. Even if it is master degree course, it doesn't matter, because master courses also have thesis work. If your research plan exceeds 2 pages, you may add another 1 or 2 pages, but not beyond that. The guidelines on the embassy's webpage are for reference and information until the first screening. Documents mentioned in the guidelines will be required only for shortlisted candidates who will be called for written tests and interviews. Therefore, please do not attach or insert any other documents mentioned in the guidelines in this preliminary application. We expect you to be able to fill out the form to the best of your understanding. Avoid contacting the embassy unnecessarily for insignificant matters. In principle, the university preference you furnished here must remain the same and changes will not be allowed in future. Therefore, thorough research on Japanese professors' universities is advised before filling out the information. Please note that there is no need to contact the Japanese professors at this stage. Very, very important. This point number 6 is very, very important. So you will see in this form there is a place where you have to list down the universities and the professors under whom you would like to do the research. So what they are mentioning here, that once you write those names, you cannot change it later on. So better you, if you select them seriously, not only for the sake of writing it just randomly, but you must be very, very careful in filling this up, because if you are awarded a scholarship, after that you will not be able to change this information. If the photograph is missing, the application will not be processed. So now let's look at the form. Field of study. From that list, you have to write the field of study here. Course applied, either master or doctoral. Here you will affix a passport size photograph, not exceeding the size of 20 KB. Then name, date of birth, age, current address, then contact number, email ID. Then the educational qualification, the 10th grade, 12th grade, and bachelor degree, master degree, and PhD or MPhil, whatever is applicable. School, board, college, university, along with the name of the institution and place, city, year of passing, and percentage only. Then what is there in the percentage? Those who have CGPA score must convert grade into percentage according to the respective university's formula or guidelines. If you are currently pursuing a course, then write marks until your last semester year. Again, very important point. For example, if you are applying for master degree course, but your bachelor degree has not yet completed, then you will not be having the final percentage here, but what they are expecting that you should write the marks until your last semester or year. And if the scoring is on the basis of CGPA, then according to the guidelines of your own institute or university, you can convert the CGPA score into percentage. You must convert grade into percentage. Otherwise, CGPA score will not be processed. So your application will get rejected if you write the CGPA here. Then employment record. If you have work experience, you can write the details here. And only full-time jobs need to be mentioned, not for any part-time jobs or any assistantship or internships. Language tests, TOEFL, IELTS, GRE, if applicable, you can mention the score. And see here, they have not expected your JLPT. So Japanese language proficiency is not required, is not mandatory here. But definitely, if you have that, there is nothing better than that. List of awards, certificates, medals, if any, give those details here. And then the most important part of the application, publication details in the given format. If you have published some article or book or anything, you can provide the details here, journal name, authors, volume, and all information. And if you have pursued the master's degree and you have your thesis completed, then you can write the title and the area of research, supervisor name, abstract, and any publications arising out of that master thesis. So that can be provided here. Then comes another very important thing, field of study and research plan. That means what you intend to do in Japan. So you here write the name in alphabet, that is your name, nationality, and then there is a guide for creating a field of study and research plan sheet. So there are some guidelines which you must be following to prepare this statement of purpose. As this sheet is one of the most important references, see, they themselves have written that this is one of the most important references for selection and university placement. So outline your field of study and specify your research theme and plan in line with the following items 1 and 2. If plagiarism or fraud is discovered after selection, the selection will be cancelled retroactively. So never copy any material from the internet to write your research plan. This is very, very critical. This sheet must be typewritten or written in block letters. If possible, please write in Japanese. Here you go. So now see what is the advantage of learning Japanese here. So that's the reason why whoever is interested in Japan and studying in Japan or working in Japan, you must learn Japanese, and that we for that we help you out in our channel. And if you are planning to go to Japan, then please learn Japanese. So you need not learn from on this channel, but from any source you can learn. So this is important. This sheet must be typewritten or written in block letters. This sheet must be created within 2 pages. Additional materials may be attached if necessary. Both a single side and dual side printing will be acceptable. So now what details you have to provide? Past and present field of study, Research theme and plan in Japan. So now what is the difference between research theme and research plan? So research theme is the abstract of the research that you will be doing. That is the topic and a very crisp and clear abstract of the theme of the research. And what is research plan? Research plan is basically how you intend to do that research, like how you will do the execution of that research, what ideas you have in your mind. So that is the research plan. Describe articulately the research theme and plan you wish to carry out in Japan. Specify particularly the ultimate goals of your research in Japan. So you have to justify why you want to do what you want to do and why you want to do that in Japan, and how you will contribute, how your research will be benefited by others. So you have research theme and you have research plan. These two items you have to write on your own. So, and once you have done that, so here the final section, placement preference application form, that is preliminary application form. This is the preliminary application form. So this is part of the same form where you have to write the names of universities, graduate school, and name of professor, and three choices for each you have to provide: first choice, second choice, third choice. And these are the details which you cannot change in future, so which was mentioned previously, that once you have decided, you cannot change it afterwards. So be very careful, don't write any names arbitrarily. You first set your mind, so you need not contact any professor. So be they have already mentioned that this is required only from your side, only your liking for a professor or a graduate school or university. You need not contact any professor at this stage. So this is all about the application form. So now let's go back to the website. So this was the application form that we discussed, and we discussed rest of the things uh, on this page. Here is another link which states past examination questions are available. So this is for the written test. So you can take a look at this. So these are the question papers that are available. So you can go through all this. So there are subject wise question papers. So depending on which subject you are going to appear, you will have these questions. So you can visit this place. So I won't go here. So let's move to the go back to this site. So now let's take a look at the application guidelines. Japanese government makes scholarship for 2026 research students. Let's take a look at the application guidelines. So this is again very important document. There are 12 pages in all. So let's see what it says. So this document is an additional document which gives the guidelines to fill up that application form, the preliminary application form. Application guidelines, Japanese government MEXT scholarship for 2026 for research students, that is for master's degree and PhD. The form for bachelor degree is yet to be announced. The Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Science and Technology MEXT of Japan offers scholarships to international students who wish to study in graduate courses at Japanese universities as research students, either regular or non-regular, under the Japanese government MEXT scholarship program as follows. Definition of research students. This is basically a master's or a doctoral course. Fields of study we have already discussed. Qualifications and conditions. So MEXT accepts applications from international students for study in Japan who satisfy the following qualifications and conditions. These are nationality. Applicants must have the nationality of a country that has diplomatic relations with Japan. India is one of them. So for India, this scholarship is applicable. Age must be born on or after April 2, 1991. Academic background, applicants must satisfy any of the following conditions for admission to either a master's or doctoral course at a Japanese graduate school in which they wish to first enroll. For master's degree or doctoral course, Applicants who have completed 16 years of school education in countries other than Japan. Applicants who have completed a program with a standard study period of 3 years or more at universities or equivalent educational institutions in countries other than Japan and received a degree equivalent to a bachelor's degree. Other than conditions 1 and 2 above, applicants who are eligible for enrollment in a master's course, doctoral course at a Japanese graduate school. For doctoral course, applicants who have been awarded with an overseas degree equivalent to a master's degree or professional degree. Applicants who have graduated from universities and have been involved in research study at universities or research centers, including overseas universities and research centers for 2 years or more, and who are recognized as having academic competency equivalent to persons with a master's degree by the graduate school. Other than conditions 1 and 2 above, applicants who are eligible for enrollment in a doctoral course, second phase at a Japanese graduate school. Now, doctoral course for the faculties of medicine, dentistry, veterinary sciences, and certain areas in pharmaceutical fields. That means these are all medical related fields. Applicants who have completed 18 years of school education in countries other than Japan. Applicants who have completed a program with the standard study period of 5 years or more at universities or equivalent educational institutions in countries other than Japan and received a degree equivalent to a bachelor's degree. You can go through all these details. Japanese language. Now let's look at that. Applicants must be willing to learn Japanese. Here you go. Applicants must be willing to learn Japanese. So you need not have any Japanese proficiency when you are entering Japan, but you must show interest in learning Japanese while doing your study at the Japanese university. So there will be free courses provided there, so you can get enrolled and you can learn Japanese. Applicants must be interested in Japan and be willing to deepen their understanding of Japan after arriving in Japan. Applicants must also have the ability to conduct research and adapt to living in Japan. Very, very important point. Health. Applicants must submit a health certificate in the prescribed format signed by a physician attesting that the applicant has no physical or mental conditions hindering the applicant's study in Japan. Arrival in Japan. The applicants must choose and fill in the choice in the application form either of the following arrival periods: April term or October term. Excluding cases in which MEXT deems as unavoidable circumstances, the applicant must withdraw from the scholarship program if the applicant cannot arrive in Japan by the end of the specified time period, which is decided by MEXT or the accepting university. So for April term, applicants must be able to arrive in Japan between 1st and 7th April. Departure from the home residence should be on or after April 1. October term, in principle, applicants must be able to arrive in Japan during the period specified by the accepting university within 2 weeks before or after the starting date of the university's relevant academic term, September or October for that year. Visa requirement. Applicants shall, in principle, newly obtain a student visa at the Japanese diplomatic mission located in the applicant's country or region of nationality and enter Japan with the status of residence as student. Accordingly, even if the applicant already has other status of residence like permanent resident, long-term resident, etc., the applicant must newly obtain a student visa and re-enter Japan. If the applicant resides in Japan for exceptional reasons before acceptance, the applicant must change or renew his/her status of residence to that of student by the end of the month prior to the month of the first scholarship payment installment, even if the applicant originally held a status of residence such as permanent resident or long-term resident. He or she should be aware that the original status might not be necessarily re-granted after the expiration of the status as a MEXT scholarship student. In case the grantee comes to Japan without newly obtaining the student visa, the payment of the scholarship will be suspended. Non-eligibility. Those who fall into any of the following categories are ineligible. If an applicant is identified as being ineligible after selection as a scholarship student, he or she must withdraw from the scholarship program. Those who are military personnel or military civilian employees at the time of their arrival in Japan or during the period of the payment of the scholarship. Those who cannot arrive in Japan by the last date of the period specified by MEXT or the accepting university. Those who are previous grantees of Japanese government MEXT scholarship programs, including those who withdrew from the scholarship program after acquisition of student status. This does not apply to those who have educational or work experience exceeding more than 3 years from the following month of the period of the previous scholarship to the estimated first month of the payment of this scholarship, and the past grantees of Japanese Studies Students Program who have graduated or are going to graduate from universities in their home countries, Japan-Korea Joint Government Scholarship Program for the students in Science and Engineering departments and Young Leaders Program. So you can go through all these in detail. So it won't be possible to read everything out. Period of scholarship, this we have already seen. Extension of period of scholarship, this you can go through. Scholarship benefits, this we have already seen. The amount in yen and INR. Traveling expenses also we have discussed that it will provide one to and fro air ticket. Suspension of payment of scholarship, very very important. You should read these conditions which you must satisfy so that you get the scholarship. Otherwise the scholarship may be suspended at any point of time if you do not adhere to the rules and regulations. So the process of application and selection, now this is very important. Around mid-April 2025, call for applications opens at each Japanese diplomatic mission or submission of application documents. So this is the stage where we are in currently. So this step has been executed. That is, applications are called by the respective embassies of Japan located in various countries. So we are talking about India here. So that advertisement has been out day before yesterday. Around early May till late July, there will be first screening. Until 1st September 2025, request for a provisional acceptance to Japanese universities. Around mid-September to early October 2025, submission of a placement preference application form. And from November 2025, second screening and university placements will start. So MEXT conducts second screening and university placement. So it will go till November 2025 for you to get the indication of your placement, and between January and March 2026 notification of results of selection and university placement. Applicants who pass the second screening and have an accepting university will be accepted as a MEXT scholarship grantee. Results are notified to applicants via the Japanese diplomatic mission. So the lucky ones will see this date and this notification. Application documents. Applicants must submit the following documents to the Japanese diplomatic mission in the country of the applicant's nationality by the designated deadline. The submitted documents will not be returned. So for now, you require only the preliminary application form. So all these details will be required only after you are screened, only after the first screening. So they will ask you to submit all this, but you need not submit everything in the first go. Application form, placement preference application form, field of study and research plan, academic transcript for all academic years of university. You need not submit anything of these with the application form. So this was written here. So it is written here that you need not submit. You will only submit the application form along with supporting documents as mentioned in the guidelines if you are shortlisted after the preliminary application from screening period. So no supporting documents are required to be submitted with the preliminary application. So you only have to submit the preliminary application at this stage. So let's go back. So these are some of the notes you must read. So the documents that will be required at a later stage, if you are screened for the written test, then you will have to submit several documents which you can, the details you will get from here. Academic transcripts and other documentation. First screening. The Japanese diplomatic missions will conduct the first screening of applicants by means of examination of submitted application documents, written examinations of language proficiency, and interviews. The subjects of written examinations of language proficiency will be Japanese and English. Both subjects must be taken by all applicants. The result of the Japanese language examination will be used as reference for the Japanese language preparatory education to be provided after the grantee's arrival in Japan. Moreover, the English proficiency test may be exempted for countries where English is the official language. Applicants must follow guidance by the overseas diplomatic establishment of their national origin. So if your education has been in English, then the test for English proficiency may be exempted. But English is the official language. So this should be applicable for India, but you can check with the embassy whether this is required or not. But in my opinion, it is better to take either the TOEFL or the IELTS because that helps in several things. So better to take that test. Even though this may be exempted, I am not sure. It's written here. Moreover, the English proficiency test may be exempted for countries where English is the official language. So in India, English is the official language, is one of the official languages. So that's why it should be exempted. And the Japanese test that they're talking about. So you can see here for this Japanese exam. So let's see what is there. Oh, this is elementary level. So this is similar to the JLPT N5 test. If I am not wrong, this is similar to that test. So they will see. So this is the thing. This is the advantage of learning the preliminary basic Japanese. So you should be able to, in that case, you will be able to answer at least few of the questions, if not all. But anyway, this is not mandatory. So they have already mentioned that depending on your performance in this Japanese test, they will decide, they will place you into some Japanese language learning program. Then the following policy will apply to each stage of screening: examination of submitted application documents, written examination of language proficiency, and interview. So in the interview, it must reveal that the applicant has a clear sense of purpose relating to his or her study in Japan and has gathered information about Japanese universities. The interview must also reveal that the applicant has sufficient Japanese or English language ability to communicate with his or her academic advisor in Japan. If the applicant desires to study a subject that requires advanced Japanese language proficiency, the interview must show that the applicant has a considerable degree of Japanese language proficiency. So this is very, very important. So again and again, the requirement of knowing Japanese is coming up. The date and time of notification of the results of the first screening will be specified separately by the Japanese diplomatic mission in the applicant's country. The reasons for the results of the screening will not be disclosed. Those who pass the first screening will not necessarily be selected as the MEXT scholarship grantees. The results of the first screening will be used as reference for the second screening and the university placement. So the first screening will not necessarily mean that you have been offered MEXT scholarship, but it will clear the path for the second screening. Request of provisional acceptance and submission of a placement form. A letter of provisional acceptance will greatly influence final selection results. Applicants may be rejected if they have not obtained any such letter. Applicants who have passed the first screening should therefore ask universities they wish to attend to issue letters of provisional acceptance. So this is very, very important. Very important point that once you are once you have passed the first screening, you should start contacting the universities which you wish to attend and request them to issue you letters of provisional acceptance on the basis of your first screening in the MEXT scholarship. And only after you show this provisional acceptance letter, then it will greatly influence your final selection results, and applicants may get rejected if they have not obtained any such letter. So it's very important to gather the letters of provisional acceptance from the universities on the basis of your first screening test. Applicants who have passed the first screening shall directly contact the Japanese universities they wish to enter after the notification of the first screening results by Monday, September 1, 2025 Japan time, in order to request the issuance of letters of provisional acceptance as a regular or a non-regular student in graduate school. Applicants should be aware of the following notes. The number of Japanese universities which can be filled in the second item placement preference application form is up to 3 universities. The applicants can, however, obtain up to a maximum of 2 letters of provisional acceptance. Do not obtain more than 2 letters of provisional acceptance. Very important point. Applicants can contact up to a maximum of 2 universities at the same time. Do not contact more than 2 universities at the same time. If you, however, have received a rejection from one of the universities and thus they have been waiting for a reply from less than 2 universities, then you can contact newly another university to request a letter of provisional acceptance. If applicant is rejected by a university, he or she should neither request an acceptance letters from another faculty member or graduate school at that university, nor lodge an objection to the university. Contact with universities to request issuance of a letter of provisional acceptance made on Tuesday, September 2, 2025 or after is not permitted. Since the above Monday, September 1, 2025 is not the deadline for universities to issue a letter of provisional acceptance, applicants should not urge the universities to issue the letter by that date. However, applicants may confirm with the university if the scheduled time of the issuance is delayed. In addition, applicants should keep in mind when scheduling request letters of provisional acceptance that universities generally need 1 month to issue a letter of provisional acceptance. So be on time. Applicants should first contact the Division of International Student Affairs at the university, not an academic advisor you wish to be supervised by, to request a letter of provisional acceptance. Very important point. MEXT will inform the divisions of International Student Affairs beforehand that applicants who have passed the first screening may contact them. The Japanese diplomatic mission can provide a list of contact information. The information on useful websites to seek information on Japanese universities and researchers is also available from the Japanese diplomatic mission. When requesting universities for issuance of a letter of provisional acceptance, applicants must submit directly to universities the following documents A and B. A is the copy of a passing certificate of the first screening issued by the Japanese diplomatic mission, and B is a set of copies of the following documents submitted to the Japanese diplomatic mission among the 9 application documents that have been stamped by the Japanese diplomatic mission and returned to the applicants. Application form, field of study and research plan, academic transcript for all academic year of university attended, certificate of graduation or degree certificate of the university attended, recommendation letter from the president or dean of the academic or the academic advisor at the current or last university attended, medical certificate, abstracts of these only if submitted to the Japanese diplomatic mission, certificate of language proficiency, and recommendation letter from the present employer, and photographs showing applicants' own works of art or a digitally recorded media of musical performance. Applicants must submit any other necessary documents requested by universities, and the rest of these items you can keep reading. And second screening and university placement is at a later stage, so for now I don't think this is This makes much sense because we are at the preliminary stage of the application that will lead to the first screening. Academic pathway for research students, this is for additional information. You can always go through that. And that's it. That's it. So friends, we have discussed about the advertisement that have come up for the application of MEXT Scholarship 2026, for which the deadline is 13th of May. Application screening will be done during the month of May. Notification of result of preliminary application form will be done in the first week of June. There will be a written examination, which is the first screening on 22nd June, and there will be an interview, virtual interview, online interview between July 8 and 13, and the final result of all of these will be termed as the first screening result. So if you pass that first screening, then as we just discussed, you will be writing to the universities for provisional acceptance certificate, and that you will have to submit for your, that will help you out in the second screening and the final selection for the MEXT scholarship. So friends, I hope this information has been useful to you. We have gone through, this is not anything that I have told from my side, but this is information as published on the Embassy of Japan website. And these details are applicable for all countries, but the dates of submission and the process of submission may vary from country to country. We have taken the reference of India in this video. So friends, that's all for now. We will see again. We will meet again in the next video very soon. Till then, goodbye. Matai Masha.